Hello everyone, this is Allegedly Caleb, and today we're going to be playing a brand new scenario from the brand new game, Sword and Siege Crusades Book II. So, this is probably the most unique scenario I've seen in a WDS game so far. Essentially, the Crusaders' goal is to exit these refugee units off of the edge of the map down here. So, if you can get them off, then you win. There are no victory points for killing or losing your units, your other units, and same thing for the Muslim units. There's no victory points for killing them or if they don't lose units. So let's see what we have. First of all, it's going to be pretty simple. All we want to do is exit our guys down to the south. So we're going to be making a steady retreat. Let's take a look at the units we have at our disposal. Some normal spear units. More spears. Those guys don't seem to have... Yeah, they don't have shields, so their armor is lower. They can block. Oh, a lot of these units can block. Okay. Part of the avant-garde. How about these guys? They're the arrière-garde, whereas these guys are the battile. Cool. And then we have these guys, who are you? More arrière guards. Arrière, maybe? More REA guards. Also, if you know how to pronounce these, definitely tell me, because I will try to pronounce them right as we continue. Here's some heavy mounted knights. Most of my units have very high quality, by the way. Some more heavy mounted knights. So it seems like, actually, let me get my epic pen. You guys like when I use this to visualize everything for you. Here it is. This lets me write on my screen. So, up north, actually we'll do red. We've got the how do you say it? Batile, something like that. And then down along the south, we have the arrière guard. They're blue. Basically all of these guys. And then further south, we have all of our knights. We've got our king, King Baldwin. Hugh of Ibelin. Looks like he's commanding the knights. And some of the refugees. We've got Raymond of Tripoli commanding these red guys. And then we've got Humphrey of Tyrone guarding these blue guys. Alright, and then in the middle is all the refugees. Very cool. Now let's see what we're going up against. We can't see them all because of fog of war, but we have a bunch of Muslim cavalry, predominantly horse archers, what it said before. But they do have some lancers, I remember seeing, and they've got a little bit of dismounted troops. You can see down here. Over here, more horse archers. So what to do let's start by moving our slowest units. Now, most of our units start out in line or block formation. We're probably not going to want to stay in that sort of formation. Are you in block as well? You are. Let's put you right here. Let's put you right here. Let's press M, which turns this button on, and that way we can see who is moved. Let's move these guys up. Okay, now we can essentially keep our guys in a formation that focuses on protecting the civilians. Because essentially what I want to do, my plan is keep my civilians in a small bundle and then use the rest of my forces to create a larger perimeter around them that will be far enough to keep the enemy horse archers from shooting at them. Now I know that ground archers have a slightly larger range than horse archers. Their range is 3, so horse archer range must be like 2. 3 is the range for normal archers, at least. Crossbowmen are 2. Okay. Good to know. What are these? Fields? Let's move them up here. Let's move them over here. Let's get you on them. Okay. Get a good perimeter going over here. We want to also keep these guys out of the line of sight of the enemy. That's another good way to make sure they don't get swarmed. Okay. Now, put you right here. You can go right there. Let's put crossbows. You can go right here. These crossbows can go right here. Except they're going to go that way. Put you guys in line. Put you guys in line. Oh. Here, let's save this. I need to make sure they're not stacked on top of each other when I put them in line. Like that. Okay. Let's move these guys down here. I'm going to use them as a reserve. All right, that's the first turn done. Let's see what the AI does. Oh, that's right. We got to skip the melee phase. There we go. Here they come. Okay. Oof. Now what we need to do to make sure that they don't isolate or outflank us is make sure all of our units have at least one unit right next to them. Or not right next to them. Like, here, I'll show you once the enemy turn is done. Ooh, we're gonna have to fight right through those guys, huh? That's gonna suck. But if I can get my men into these woods, if I can get them into these woods, it will be so difficult for their cav to get there. So actually, I think my plan, instead of following the road that way, we're going to try to get them into the woods here. And then hopefully move our refugees from the woods to the road. Okay. Is that all of them? Almost. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's all of them. Okay. Oh, nice. And they stay the direction they're in. That's good. Okay. The only thing that does not stay in the correct line is the cav. So we're going to need to make sure that we move our cav to make sure they're all pointed the right direction. Okay. Okay. Okay, that's everyone. Let's continue. Continue again. Here they come. Oh, they're moving into range now. Oh, nice. We're shooting some of them. Yeah, so one of the developers actually told me to try this scenario. He must have seen that I thought it was going to be interesting when I did my overview of this game. Because again, I have not seen a scenario like this in a WDS game before. So it's pretty exciting. But anyway, Hopefully we can stay far ahead of their infantry. Ooh, here they go. Here they go. Oh good, we got one unit undisordered. All right. Okay, got our 3 heavy knight units over here. Unfortunately, I cannot see any other units that are over here. Oops. Okay. Let's get these guys down here. Let's put you right here. I guess you guys can go right here and get into the line. Okay. Okay. That's everyone. Yeah. Okay. Let's press next turn. Okay, here we go. Here come the enemy. We are well and truly surrounded. We're getting close to those woods, though. You just need to shoot that gap to the left. Okay, awesome. 2 units undisordered out of 3. Let's see, just that one guy in the middle who's still disordered. Okay, this will probably be the last turn of this episode. Okay. There we go. Don't see anyone in that direction. That's good. Oh. Here's some guys. That's not particularly amazing. Okay. Can they shoot? No, they cannot. What did I press there to make them? Huh. I'm not sure. Anyway, it doesn't matter that much. Okay. go. Is that everyone? Almost. We're so close to the woods. You know, we could probably finish this all in... Oh, no, I'd probably finish it next episode. So far, our retreat has been masterful. Okay. We're going to do a melee right here. Nice. We got the better of them in that melee. We did get disordered, though. Let's see what happens. Ooh, we see a lot more of them now. They're not being aggressive enough, I think. Anyway, like I was saying before, my strategy, and generally the defensive strategy you want to keep in most WDS games, is having your units spaced out at least one hex or 2 hexes apart from each other like this, because their zone of controls make it to where a unit cannot go between those hexes most of the time, especially if you have another unit behind them. So that's generally the strategy you want to make when you have these types of defensive formations. You want to space your guys out like that, because if they can get on either side of one of your units, then that unit's going to get isolated. Now, fortunately, they have lots of opportunities to isolate some of my units, but they aren't quite smart enough to take advantage of that. Like this guy, they could probably isolate by just... Well, you can't see him anymore, but they were in a vulnerable position. I'll show you all the units that I would isolate if I was the Muslims. Just as a little learning experience. Ooh. Ooh, he's charging. Oh, he's done. Charged my archers. Okay, so let's look at all the units that I, if I was the Muslim player, would have tried to surround that turn. First, I would surround this guy, and this one's pretty easy. You just go here and here. And since there's no friendly units anywhere nearby, easy isolation. Another unit that would have been easier to isolate than even that guy is him, just by putting a unit here and here. Or you could have even put someone like right here and here. Basically just a units that can isolate him from the rest of my guys. That would have been very easy to do, but they were not able to see that. Let's see. Some more units. They could... This one's a little bit more difficult because they would have had to go here and here. And I don't think they would have been able to push a unit here and then also push him one over. He would have had to go around like that, since Cav can't really go through hexes like that very well. Okay, let's see. Are there any else that their units are close to right now? Yeah, these hexes are tricky. So the reason I try to line them up like this is because if their enemy units are here and here, they cannot push into this hex right here, because doing so would put them in another unit zone of control while they're already in a unit zone of control. However, here, if the enemy unit is in... Here, let me exit this. If the enemy unit is in this hex, that's the only way you can move into this hex right here. And from here, you could then move another hex over, potentially the next turn if there's no units behind him covering that zone of control. And that's how you can break up this type of formation when it's a hex face. When it's a full hex in between, much more difficult to break that formation. When it's a single hex space in between, like a hex edge, it's a lot easier to break by putting a unit here and then moving in between them. Hopefully that explains some defensive strategies for you. So this guy, and the reason that's relevant is because if they put a unit here, then another unit, say this guy comes around and does that. This guy can go right here, and boom, this unit's isolated. I would have to move another unit, maybe one of these guys, or maybe these guys, into this hex to free them. So, yeah, that is how you do that. All of my other units look pretty safe from where they are right now, from what I can see. But that is my little lesson on zone of control and surrounding enemy units. Hopefully you're enjoying this so far. We're very close to getting our units into the woods, and then from here, running away. We might even be able to just skirt them right this way and stay in the open hexes so we can move faster, but we'll see. Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll catch you next time.